mother go in there with her baby and then come out without her baby. It makes it real for you. And I think that's a benefit that you cannot underestimate. And once you go to an abortion clinic and you see the women go in and you experience everything that there is to experience, you can't ignore it. And your conscience, by God's grace, through His Word, by His Spirit, will prick you. And to the point where you say, I've got to do something about this. And I've got to talk to others about this, because this can't continue to happen. So it makes it real. It opens your eyes to the fact that it is happening. I can become numb to that. Right? Like I'm in this world every day, and I can still lose the sense of urgency and earnestness because it is so normal, right? But then when you go to the abortion clinic, again, it paints that vivid picture, like, oh, this is why I'm doing this day in and day out.
Hey, Nicholas, do you mind telling us about your sonogram experience?
Oh, yes.
Talk about reality.
Yeah. Was that 2 years ago?
I think it was, yeah. In Kettering, right? Wasn't it?
Yeah, it was at the local abortion mill. And I had actually just got to the abortion mill that morning to minister. And there was a woman, a young woman, probably around my age, maybe in her early 20s, a bit younger. And she came over to us, and she handed us a picture of her ultrasound. And she said, I wanted you to have this. This is the baby that I'm going to kill. And she walked away laughing. That was a very surreal moment. You see what the Bible talks about when it talks about human depravity, right? And then you understand what Mason mentioned, that the only power that can change somebody's heart that's warped by sin is the power of the gospel.
I would say, let's start. I'm going to read Leviticus 20, not the whole chapter, the first little section of it. It says, the Lord spoke to Moses, say to the people of Israel, any one of the people of Israel, or of the strangers who sojourn in Israel, who gives any of his children to Moloch, shall surely be put to death. The people of the land shall stone him with stones. I myself will set my face against that man, and will cut him off from among his people, because he has given one of his children to Moloch, to make my sanctuary unclean, and to profane my holy name. Listen to this second part, particularly for us. And if the people of the land do at all close their eyes to that man when he gives one of his children to Moloch, and do not put him to death, then I will set my face against that man, and against his clan, and will cut them off from among their people, him and all who follow him in whoring after Moloch. The man who turns his face is the man who whores after Moloch in this passage. He is the one against whom the Lord sets his face. So I would say one of the major benefits of going to the abortion mill is you're just obeying God's command not to turn your face when evil is happening right in front of you. When child sacrifice is happening right in front of you, you are obeying the Lord's command to go. And what Bryan mentioned, Ephesians 5:11, take no part in unfruitful works of darkness, but instead expose them. How do you expose them? You go and you proclaim the gospel to these people. And you see their reactions, and that's the second thing that Nicholas already mentioned. You see the depravity of man on display. You get cussed at. You get laughed at. I've seen someone throw their coffee on someone. That's an interesting one. You'll go out by the street and hold signs. People honk. People will try to stop, and that's Stroop Road. It's a very busy road. People will try to stop and yell at you. Why? Because of the depravity of man. And you get a glimpse into just how evil the human heart really is. And you know, we're all of the same stock alongside Adam, right? But God has chosen us, predestined before the foundation of the world to save us. You get a picture of just how beautiful God's grace is, because you know if not for grace, you would be that person. And so that's you can see, you can hear the preaching of the gospel. You can see your fellow brothers and sisters along the sidewalk proclaiming and pleading with these men and women, knowing that if God had not stepped into our life, we would be those people walking into that abortion mill. And to see those two things next to each other is kind of similar to what we saw at the State House, where we had these protesters screaming and making all this commotion and being just terrible, and we were singing the doxology as they were being escorted out. So it just shows the distinction, and it shows you how gracious God is. I'd say those are a couple